Today, April 24th, a truly extraordinary celestial event is unfolding in our skies, and I don't use the word extraordinary lightly. Mercury, blazing through the assertive sign of Aries, is forming an exact trine, a harmonious 120-degree aspect with Black Moon Lilith currently residing in the adventurous sign of Sagittarius. Now, if that collection of astrological terms sounds like pure jargon, please, I urge you to stay with me, because what this cosmic alignment actually signifies for your personal journey is nothing short of breathtakingly profound. Here's the raw, unvarnished truth of it. I deeply believe this very day offers the universe's most potent permission slip you've perhaps been unconsciously yearning for. All those unspoken truths that have felt heavy on your heart, the vital boundaries you've been too apprehensive to establish, the authentic desires you've kept carefully concealed within because you feared rocking the boat or disturbing the perceived equilibrium. Today, a seismic shift occurs. Suddenly, articulating your innermost truth won't merely feel like a possibility, it will feel like an absolute, undeniable necessity. And for those of you who belong to the trio of fire signs I'll delve into shortly, this isn't just a pleasant, energetic boost. It is in my sincere conviction one of the most profoundly liberating transits you will experience throughout the entire year. However, there's a crucial, subtle nuance to how this energy operates, a vital piece of the puzzle that, surprisingly, most people are completely overlooking. Fail to grasp this critical insight, and you risk not fully harnessing the immense power of this rare celestial window. I promise to explain precisely what that missing piece is later in this very transmission. But before we get there, it's imperative that you understand the powerful energetic currents that have been building, because this moment isn't happening in a vacuum. The intensely potent energy you feel today is the culmination, the explosive release of everything that has been steadily accumulating, stacking up, and reaching a critical mass throughout the entire month of April. And to be utterly frank, it has been nothing short of intense. The pressure, almost palpable, has been building to an unbearable degree, and today it finally finds its much-needed release. Let's pause for a moment of genuine self-reflection. Hasn't April felt incredibly heavy for you? Perhaps like some unseen immense weight has been pressing down, making it increasingly difficult to draw a full breath, to think with clarity, to simply back? If you felt that, let me assure you, you are not imagining things. The entire month has been characterized by a concentrated, almost suffocating build-up of cardinal fire energy. Mars, the planet of raw drive and aggression, boldly stormed into Aries back on April 9th, injecting a powerful, sometimes volatile, surge of primal force. Then, Mercury, the celestial messenger, followed suit on April 14th, immediately accelerating everything it touched. Your thoughts, your nervous system, that incessant inner urge to finally speak your mind. And both of these potent planets have been relentlessly colliding with the formidable energies of Saturn and Neptune, and even with each other, creating a veritable pressure cooker of energy that has been silently yet insistently demanding that you take definitive action. But here, I believe, lies the crux of what has been unfolding. You've undoubtedly felt this immense pressure, this inner clamor, but crucially, you haven't had a clear, unobstructed outlet for it. You've inherently known that something had to shift, that a change was long overdue. You felt the words, the truths, the boundaries, building up like an unstoppable tide within you, yet something has consistently held you back. Perhaps it was a deep-seated fear of consequences, a lifetime of societal conditioning, or even a profound, ancient, almost ancestral belief that speaking your authentic truth would inevitably lead to exile, rejection, or even abandonment. And that, my friends, is precisely where today's potent alignment steps in. When Mercury, the planet of thought and communication, meets Lilith, the archetypal symbol of untamed autonomy in this perfect, flowing 120-degree trine, I am convinced that this paralyzing fear simply dissolves. The invisible filter that has been meticulously censoring your voice, muting your authentic expression, utterly disintegrates. And suddenly, the truth, your truth, comes pouring out, not in a reckless, destructive torrent, but in a profoundly powerful, gloriously liberating, and deeply authentic way that feels akin to finally, truly coming home to yourself. Does that resonate within your soul? Because I, too, have been experiencing this intense build-up, and I know with absolute certainty that I am not alone in this feeling. But what exactly is Black Moon Lilith, and why does it hold such immense significance? You might be asking. Okay, before we delve any deeper, it's absolutely essential that I explain the nature of Lilith, as this understanding is the linchpin to comprehending the staggering power of today's celestial configuration. Black Moon Lilith is not a physical planet, nor is it even a tangible celestial body. Rather, it is a calculated mathematical point in the vast expanse of space, specifically marking the precise spot in the Moon's elliptical orbit where it is furthest from Earth. And this profound astronomical reality perfectly mirrors its psychological and archetypal representation. The exiled, the distant, the parts of yourself you have consciously or unconsciously pushed to the outermost fringes of your being. In the ancient, resonant tapestries of mythology, Lilith is portrayed as Adam's first wife, uniquely created as his equal from the very same primordial earth. Yet, when Adam, imbued with patriarchal expectation, demanded her submission, she fiercely refused. She chose uncompromising autonomy over subjugation. With defiant courage, she uttered the ineffable name of God and fled into the wild, untamed wilderness rather than bow down to another's will. Because of this unwavering stance, she transcended into the ultimate, enduring symbol of the autonomous, unapologetic, fierce life force. In your own astrological chart, Lilith illuminates where you feel deeply misunderstood, profoundly rejected, or strangely alienated. It marks the hidden chambers where you've concealed your true, often unconventional, desires to evade ridicule or judgment. But, paradoxically, it is also the very wellspring from which your most potent, magnetic, and utterly irresistible power emanates. The parts of yourself that are wild, untamed, and absolutely refuse to be domesticated by societal norms or expectations. Currently, Lilith is gracefully navigating through Sagittarius, the expansive sign of truth, profound philosophy, cherished belief systems, and higher wisdom. When Lilith takes up residence in Sagittarius, it powerfully unearths and brings to the surface all the myriad ways you have felt alienated, marginalized or othered for simply daring to believe something different, for questioning the accepted dogma, for refusing to blindly accept the intellectual frameworks that everyone else seems to follow without a single flicker of doubt. This particular transit has been unflinchingly exposing the stark reality that many of our suppressed desires, our true yearnings, are often hidden behind clever facades of spiritual bypassing or intellectual detachment. You know the drill. Oh, I don't need that, or I'm simply above wanting such things, when in reality you're just profoundly terrified of being vulnerable enough to openly admit what your soul genuinely craves. And today, as Mercury, the quicksilver planet of communication, forms this frictionless, flowing connection to Lilith, all of that carefully constructed artifice comes powerfully to the surface. Not as shame, not as something to hurriedly conceal, but as an undeniable, creative life force energy that absolutely demands to be voiced, to be expressed, to be heard. Today, your voice transforms into a potent weapon in the most magnificent and empowering sense of the word. Allow me to paint a vivid picture of Mercury's intense journey this month, because by the time it culminates in his meeting with Lilith today, it's far from merely impulsive or reactive. It has been profoundly forged and tempered by fire. Mercury courageously entered Aries on April 14th, an ingress that immediately sharpened and accelerated your thoughts, imbuing them with a new sense of urgency. But then, it embarked on a series of powerful conjunctions that fundamentally altered its mode of operation. First, it merged with the ethereal Neptune on April 16th, a union that infused Mercury with profound psychic sensitivity and deep spiritual insight. Subsequently, it collided with the formidable Saturn on April 20th, an aspect that crystallized those previously nebulous, dreamlike Neptune vibes into cold, hard, inescapable reality. And then, less than 12 hours later, it dramatically conjoined with Mars, igniting those newly structured thoughts with militant, decisive, and unwavering action. So, by today, Mercury isn't just speaking. It's speaking from a place that is psychically attuned, structurally sound, and backed by an absolute, unshakable courage. The communication that flows through you today isn't just honest. I believe it is truly undeniable. It effortlessly cuts through all the extraneous noise. It eradicates the insidious fear of confrontation, and it empowers you to voice your uncompromising demands and establish boundaries rooted in tested, absolute truth. And here is where the narrative truly escalates in fascinating ways. Mercury is positioned at the 14th degree of Aries. According to the timeless wisdom of the Sabian symbols, this specific degree is profoundly represented by a serpent coiling near a man and a woman. This imagery immediately invokes the powerful awakening of Kundalini energy, the stirring of primal life force, and the profound recognition of dualistic forces coexisting within your own being. The conscious, acceptable mind interacting with the exiled shadow self. When your communication originates from this deeply symbolic degree, it is not superficial, it is not merely reactive. I believe it is emanating directly from the base of your spine, from your gut, from an intrinsic, undeniable bodily knowing that cannot be rationally argued with. It is primal truth. Simultaneously, Lilith resides at the 14th degree of Sagittarius, a degree powerfully represented by the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx, those colossal monuments of enduring truth that have magnificently outlasted countless civilizations. This profound symbolism unequivocally tells me that what you articulate today is not a fleeting emotional outburst, not a temporary fit of pique. No, it is a foundational, epoch-making declaration that possesses the inherent power to stand the unwavering test of time, an eternal echo across the ages. But now for the true catalyst, the crucial piece of information that almost nobody is discussing. Remember when I hinted that there was something specific most people were completely missing? This is Iti, and honestly, discovering this connection was a monumental realization for me. Today's Mercury-Lilith trine does not occur in isolated splendor. Just mere hours before it perfects its alignment at 10,000 tonight, April 23rd, Venus and Uranus form an exact conjunction at the critical 29th degree of Taurus. Now, the 29th degree is ominously known as the anaretic degree, the degree of fate, of crisis, and of urgent, irreversible culmination. It represents the absolute, definitive end of a cycle, the precarious precipice before an inevitable plunge into the profound unknown. Uranus, the great disruptor, has been moving through Taurus since 2018, spending a full 8 years meticulously restructuring our fundamental relationship to security, to our deepest values, to money, and to material attachments. When Venus, the planet of love and values, meets Uranus, the planet of sudden change and revolution, at this terminal point, it sparks a massive, instantaneous rupture. Outdated value systems violently shatter, toxic relational attachments abruptly break, and the cherished comfort zone explodes into 1,000 pieces. People will experience unexpected financial shifts, shocking romantic revelations, and sudden, irresistible attractions to completely novel concepts or entirely different types of people. This conjunction violently destabilizes the material and relational structures that have, perhaps unbeknownst to you, been silently keeping you bound. And then, mere hours later, Mercury and Lilith step onto the cosmic stage, gifting you the precise voice you need to explain, to assert, and to powerfully redefine your newly liberated reality. Do you comprehend the staggering implications of this sequence? The very foundations of your material world shift and rupture tonight, and your voice, empowered and articulate, catches up and gives form to it today. The Venus-Uranus conjunction violently breaks your chains of old attachments, and the Mercury-Lilith trine empowers you to speak that newfound freedom into tangible existence. And then, as if the universe couldn't be more precise in its timing, the very day afters, today, April 25th, Uranus permanently makes its ingress into Gemini, inaugurating a brand new 7-year cycle focused entirely on revolutionary, paradigm-shifting communication. Today's act of truth-telling, your bold declaration of authenticity, is literally the initiation rite for this new, expansive era. You are not just speaking, you are consciously clearing the emotional and energetic debris, making space within your nervous system to handle the impending, profound upgrade. This isn't just a single, isolated transit. It's a meticulously choreographed sequence, a cosmic domino effect. And if you are truly paying attention, you can ride this powerful wave all the way into a completely new, more authentic version of your life. You might finally utter the very words you've been absolutely terrified to say. So, let's get eminently practical for a moment. What might this actually look like in your everyday, real-world experience? What specific shifts or revelations might you encounter today? I believe you're going to find words effortlessly emerging from your mouth that genuinely surprise even yourself. Boundaries you've mentally rehearsed 1,000 times, but never quite managed to actually enforce. Today you enforce them firmly and without hesitation. Those difficult conversations you've been meticulously avoiding, deeming them too confrontational, too risky. Today you have them, with an unexpected clarity and courage. Desires you felt deep shame in admitting, even to yourself. Today you boldly own them, embrace them, and perhaps even articulate them. And here's the truly wild part: it won't feel scary in the moment. The harmonious trine creates this almost frictionless flow, where speaking your deepest truth feels as natural and as vital as drawing breath. You won't find yourself second-guessing every word, agonizing over potential consequences, or catastrophizing about future outcomes. You will simply know. And you will speak. Some individuals will finally articulate to their partners their true, unspoken needs. Others will find the courage to decisively quit the soul-draining job that has been slowly eroding their spirit. Some will establish a rock-solid boundary with a family member who has been persistently overstepping for years. Still others will finally admit to themselves, and perhaps to a trusted confidant, what they truly, passionately desire out of life, even if those desires are unconventional or, in some circles, considered taboo. The sheer exhaustion of maintaining a false facade, of living an inauthentic existence, reaches its breaking point today, and the profound realization hits you: authentic, unfiltered self-expression isn't merely preferable, it is absolutely essential for your very survival and well-being. Does that make sense deep within your core? Now, am I unequivocally stating that everyone will experience a massive, dramatic confrontation today? No, I cannot assert that with absolute certainty. However, I am profoundly convinced that you will at the very least feel a palpable shift, a profound loosening, an undeniable sense that something that has been gripping your throat, constricting your voice for months, or perhaps even years, has finally, mercifully let go. And if that describes your experience, I genuinely implore you to return to this space and share your story in the comments below. All right, while the energetic currents of today are undoubtedly felt by everyone to some degree, there are 3 specific signs that are geometrically positioned to experience the most profound, life-altering liberation today. If your sun, moon, or ascendant rising sign falls into any of these 3 fire signs, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, then this particular section is specifically tailored for you, intended to illuminate your unique path to freedom. Let's begin with Aries, because honestly, you, my fiery ram, have truly been through the cosmic ringer this month. You've been hosting this colossal stellium of planets. The North Node, Chiron, Saturn, Neptune, Mars, and Mercury, all piling up in your cardinal sign. This has created an incredibly intense, high-pressure crucible, a forge for your very identity. You've likely felt utterly exhausted, undergoing deep, often painful, healing processes, and fundamentally restructuring your entire sense of self and purpose. It has been, in no uncertain terms, a lottie. Today, Mercury is dynamically transiting your first house, the deeply personal domain of your core identity, your physical presence, and your immediate visceral vitality. And it is forming this powerful trine to Lilith in your 9th house, the expansive realm of your personal philosophy, your cherished worldview, and your quest for higher truth. Here's what I believe this profoundly signifies for you, Aries. Today is about an absolute, uncompromising refusal to dilute who you are, your raw, untamed essence, for the comfort or convenience of anyone else. The suffocating pressure to package your raw, sometimes chaotic, fiercely independent nature into something sanitized, palatable, and overtly acceptable utterly collapses. Done. Over. You will cease internalizing your frustrations, no longer performing patience or engaging in people-pleasing behaviors that betray your soul. Instead, you will begin loudly and unequivocally vocalizing the vital boundaries you've been terrified to enforce. You will state your needs explicitly, clearly, and without a single shred of apology. You will reclaim your natural, inherent leadership abilities, even if, and perhaps especially if, it makes others uncomfortable. And the harmonious trine from Lilith in your 9th house ensures that this isn't just a fleeting temper tantrum or impulsive outburst. No, it is powerfully backed by deep, unshakable philosophical conviction. You're not merely angry, you are righteously, absolutely certain that you deserve to exist loudly, fully, and without any caveats or conditions. Aries, today you boldly break free from any relationship, institution, or long-standing family narrative that has attempted to domesticate your magnificent, untamable fire. And honestly, it's about damn time. For my magnificent Leos, this powerful transit resonates on a distinctly different, yet equally profound, frequency. Mercury in Aries is currently transiting your 9th house, the house of visionary expansion, higher education, and exploring vast horizons. And it's forming a perfect trine with Lilith in your 5th house, the radiant domain of creativity, romance, pure joy, and your vibrant inner child. Furthermore, that potent Venus-Uranus conjunction tonight is erupting in your 10th house of career and public image, adding an extra layer of seismic significance. This is monumental. Here's what I've keenly observed about many Leos. You are intrinsically wired for passionate self-expression and a life lived with dramatic flair. Yet somewhere along your journey, you learn to meticulously curate, to subtly mute, those dazzling parts of yourself that felt too eccentric, too intense, too much for others to handle. Perhaps it stemmed from a deep-seated fear of rejection or a protective instinct for your professional reputation. But you have been editing yourself, haven't you? Lilith in your 5th house has been relentlessly exposing the shadow side of your desires, the unyielding craving for unabashed, uncurated bliss. the hunger for intense, perhaps even taboo romance that defies societal expectations, the deep, primal need to create art or live a life that is raw and provocative, not merely aesthetically pleasing or conventionally acceptable. And today, Mercury gifts you the high-level perspective, the cosmic validation, to finally embrace and vocalize those desires. The wild truth for you, Leo, is the profound acknowledgement that your intensity, your inherent drama, your delightful eccentricities, these are not liabilities to be suppressed. They are, in fact, your most potent magnetic superpowers. Today, you might vocally reject creative compromises that feel safe but are utterly soul-crushing. You might decisively exit a romantic situation that tragically lacks deep, primal passion and authentic fire. You might radically alter the entire direction of your personal joy and creative expression, regardless of how it might impact your carefully constructed public image. Leo, today you find the unwavering courage to embrace the wild, furiously beating heart of your desires. You finally stop being afraid of being too much or too loud, because I genuinely believe your authentic, unbridled joy is the most magnetic, irresistible force about you. And today, you finally let it roar. Sagittarius, you're reclaiming your inner compass. And now for Sagittarius. Okay, this one holds a particularly personal resonance for me, because I believe this specific astrological placement is especially profound in its implications. Lilith has been powerfully transiting your first house, the house of self, identity, and personal projection, since December. This means she has been tirelessly unearthing the darkest, most suppressed, and often most uncomfortable facets of your identity for many months now. And today, Mercury, residing in your fifth house of creativity, self-expression, and joy, forms this perfect, liberating trine to your first house, Lilith. Here's the fundamental truth about Sagittarius. You are the quintessential seeker of ultimate truth, the philosopher, the adventurous traveler of mind and spirit. But you can, at times, fall into the subtle trap of adhering to rigid external frameworks, be it religious structures, academic dogmas, or a form of intellectual detachment that paradoxically keeps you safe from messy emotional vulnerability. Does that resonate deeply within your adventurous spirit? Lilith in your first house has been forcing a brutal, undeniable confrontation with your deepest alienation wounds. The insidious fear of being the exiled dissenter, the profound exhaustion of constantly playing the detached observer when what your soul truly craves is to be fully, messily, passionately involved in life. The suppressed rage of having your expansive, boundless nature confined by orthodoxies and stifling expectations. Today, Mercury in your fifth house empowers you to articulate, with stunning clarity and heartfelt passion, everything you've been undergoing. And here is your wild, liberating truth. Sagittarius. Ultimate wisdom doesn't reside exclusively in external institutions, dusty tomes, or inherited traditions. It exists entirely within your own primal, instinctual, bodily knowing, a truth that vibrates in your very bones. Today, you break free from the neurotic need to constantly intellectualize your feelings, to dissect them endlessly. You stop meticulously explaining away your desires, justifying them to others. Instead, you communicate them directly, passionately, and even playfully, with an undeniable, joyous authenticity. You physically and mentally step away from spaces where you feel compelled to translate your vastness, your inherent bigness, into smaller, more palatable language for others' comfort. Sagittarius today is about nothing less than total spiritual sovereignty. You integrate your shadow. You fearlessly vocalize your unique, untamed worldview without a single apology, and you reclaim the profound truth that you, not some external authority, are your own best, most trustworthy guide. And honestly, I think that's incredibly powerful. This isn't just today. This is a new beginning. So, here's the final, crucial understanding I want you to grasp as we bring this powerful transmission to a close. Today is not merely a one-day event. It is, I firmly believe, a significant threshold, a pivotal turning point in your life's narrative. The things you courageously speak into existence today, the vital boundaries you set, the raw truths you voice, the profound freedom you claim, these actions create powerful ripples that will extend far beyond the calendar date of April 24th. The Venus-Uranus conjunction tonight brutally breaks the old chains that bound you. The Mercury-Lilith trine today gifts you the undeniable voice to declare your liberation. And the monumental Uranus shift into Gemini the day after. That's the universe itself confirming with cosmic certainty that you are precisely on the right, revolutionary path. You are not simply speaking your truth for its own sake. You are actively preparing your entire nervous system, your entire being, for a new, expansive era of authentic, revolutionary communication. And I understand that this might feel incredibly intense. I know, deep in my bones, that speaking your truth can be terrifying, especially when you spend years, perhaps even decades, meticulously keeping it quiet, safely tucked away. But here is the vital truth I need you to remember, to etch into your heart. The sheer exhaustion of silence, of constant suppression, is ultimately far heavier than the perceived risk of honesty. The profound cost of staying small, of dimming your light, is infinitely greater than the fear of finally being truly seen, in all your magnificent authenticity. Today, the cosmos is not just giving you permission, it is actively empowering you to be big, to be loud, to be unapologetically, ferociously, uniquely yourself. And if you are one of the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, this isn't just permission. It is, in a very real sense, a cosmic requirement. Your truth is desperately needed. Your voice matters, perhaps now more than ever. And today, you finally get to use it, to wield it as the powerful instrument it truly is. So whatever has been intensely building inside you, whatever you've been too scared to articulate, too conditioned to express, too careful to risk revealing, I believe with every fiber of my being that today is the day you finally let it out. Not recklessly, not destructively, but powerfully, authentically, and with the full, unwavering force of your soul behind every single word. And when you do, I truly believe you're going to feel something you haven't experienced in a very, very long time. Liberation. Alignment. The deep, resonant, soul-stirring knowing that you are finally, truly, gloriously being true to yourself. All right. If you've made it this far, enduring every word of this extensive exploration, thank you so much for watching and for staying with me through all of this. Seriously, it means more than you can possibly know. If this profound message resonated with you, if it stirred something within your spirit, and you're eager to see more content like this, I would deeply appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. It helps this message reach more people than you realize. And please, drop a comment below. I genuinely want to hear what unfolds for you today. Are you feeling this intense build-up? What truth are you finally ready to speak into existence? I make it a point to read every single comment, because I truly believe we are all interconnected in this shared journey of awakening. Take exquisite care of yourself. Fiercely trust your inner voice, and I will undoubtedly see you in the next one.